If you remember the winter of 2014, this developing pattern has eerie similarities, but with one critical difference that makes it more dangerous. What I'm seeing in the data right now reminds me of some of the worst holiday travel disasters we've experienced, but this time we're better prepared. Today's Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. In the next 12 minutes, I'll use lessons from past storms to help you navigate this one. You know, those of us who've been through a few tough winters learn to recognize certain patterns, and this one's got my full attention. We're looking at a weather setup that combines the worst elements of several memorable storms: the cold of 14, the wind of 98, the snow of 09. But here's the difference. Unlike those past storms that caught us off guard, we can see this one coming, and we know exactly what to do. If you lived through the polar vortex of 2014, or remember the blizzard that shut down airports before Christmas 2009, you'll want to hear this. Let me walk you through the timeline, then I'll share what we've learned from past storms that can keep you safe this time. Today through Wednesday, the Pacific Northwest is getting hit again, just like during those atmospheric river events we saw back in 2019 and 2021. Thursday's the turning point. That's when this system transforms into something similar to the storm that paralyzed travel in December 2016. Friday through Saturday, the temperature crash reminds me of that brutal cold snap we had in February 2021, but happening right before Christmas. Sunday into Christmas week, multiple storm waves, similar to the pattern that made January 2019 so challenging but compressed into holiday week. Now, let me take you through what each region can expect, drawing on lessons we learned from similar storms in the past. Pacific Northwest folks, if you remember those flooding events from a few years back, this has that same concerning feel to it. We're looking at another 12 to 18 inches of rain, similar to what caused all that trouble back in November 2021. Those rivers that caused problems during past storms, they're going to be tested again, and some could exceed previous high water marks. Remember how dangerous those Cascade Passes became during the 2019 storms? Well, we're looking at similar conditions this week. Here's where this pattern starts looking like that memorable polar vortex winter, Arctic air colliding with Pacific moisture. Canadian friends and folks in the upper Midwest, this is shaping up like those brutal winters we went through in 2014 and 2019. We could see snowfall totals similar to what shut down so many communities during those past events, 1 to 3 feet in some areas. For those of you in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan who remember how quickly conditions deteriorated in past storms, expect the same rapid changes. If you recall how travel became impossible during the 2016 December storm, we're looking at similar potential Thursday and Friday. Great Lakes families who lived through those lake effect events in recent years know how fast snow lines can shift. Just like in past storms, areas expecting rain could wake up to significant snow instead. We've seen this movie before. Here's something that reminds me of the derecho winds we saw a few summers back, the wind threat that's coming. Rocky Mountain states, remember those 100-plus mile-per-hour winds that caused so much damage in past storms? We could see similar gusts. These winds create ground blizzards similar to what we experienced during that memorable March storm several years ago. Those of you who remember being stuck on highways during past blizzards know why I'm emphasizing avoiding travel in high-profile vehicles. Eastern regions, if you remember how that Arctic air felt during the 2014 polar vortex, get ready for a reminder. The cold air following this storm has similarities to what we experienced during some of our most challenging winter weather. What concerns me most, thinking back to past holiday storms, is how this timing affects travel, just like those earlier disasters. Remember how airports struggled during the 2016 Christmas travel nightmare? We're seeing similar preparation steps being taken now. Interstate highways that became parking lots during past storms, I-90, I-94, I-35, are likely to face similar challenges. Let me share what I learned from covering those past storm disasters that can help you make better decisions this time. If you remember being stranded during previous storms, you know why leaving early or waiting makes so much sense now. Those emergency supplies that saved people during past events, extra food, water, warm clothes, they're just as important today. Airlines learned from those past holiday meltdowns, which is why they're being proactive about cancellations this time. The dangerous cold following this storm reminds me of the most memorable Arctic blast many of us have experienced. Remember that polar vortex of 2014 when the cold was unlike anything most of us had felt? This could be similar. Those wind chills that made headlines during past cold snaps could return 60 below in Canada, 30 below in the northern states. If you remember how dangerous that level of cold was for anyone caught outside, you understand why preparation is so critical. Those frostbite warnings we issued during past cold events apply here too. Exposed skin in serious danger within minutes. Based on what we learned from past storm responses, here's what every household should be doing right now. Remember how neighbors helped each other during those tough winters? Check on elderly folks, just like people did for you back then. Those pipe freezing problems we saw during past cold snaps, if you learned from those experiences, take precautions now. Stock up on essentials just like we did before, those memorable storms, groceries, medications, batteries, the tried and true preparations. Vehicle preparation that saved people during past winter emergencies applies here. Proper antifreeze, emergency kits, the whole routine. Now here's some encouraging news based on patterns we've seen after similar storms in the past. Just like those tough storms that seemed overwhelming at the time, this one should move through relatively quickly. Remember how the weather pattern changed after those big Arctic blasts? We typically see milder air return for Christmas week. That ridge of high pressure that brought relief after past polar vortex events, we're expecting something similar this time. Christmas Day itself should be much more manageable, similar to how conditions improved after those past holiday storms. Western states will stay active just like during past December patterns. That's pretty normal based on historical experience. Mountain snow lovers who remember epic powder years from past storms are going to be happy with what's coming. Looking toward New Year's, the pattern reminds me of some active January periods we've experienced in recent years. January could shape up like some of our more memorable winter months, especially for northern states. Those nor'easters that affected the East Coast during past winters could return if atmospheric patterns align like they did before. The storm track that brought significant weather to the Midwest and Northeast in past Januaries could be active again. For those of you with family scattered around the country, remember lessons from past holiday travel challenges. Communication and flexibility, the same strategies that helped families during past storms, are your best tools now. Remember how families adapted during those past holiday disruptions? The gatherings still happened, just with modified timing. Those unexpected holiday memories created during past weather events often became the stories families tell for years. Let me put this in perspective, using examples from storms many of you will remember experiencing. This has elements of several challenging winters we've weathered, but communities proved their resilience during those past events. Emergency preparedness improved dramatically after those earlier storms, and we're seeing the benefits of that experience now. Transportation systems learned from past failures, better equipment, better protocols, better communication with travelers. Communities that pulled together during those memorable, tough winters have maintained that spirit of helping neighbors. What makes this significant is the combination of elements we've seen separately in past storms, all happening together. It's a reminder that while we've improved our preparation, Mother Nature can still serve up challenging combinations. Drawing on experience from past storms, here's the key factor that makes this particularly concerning. Those rapid temperature changes that caught people off guard during previous events are the real danger here too. Remember how conditions could deteriorate so quickly during past storms? We're expecting similar rapid changes. Areas experiencing mild weather could face dangerous conditions within hours, just like during those memorable weather switches. Based on lessons from past storms, here are the three most important things to remember. First, this storm combines elements of several challenging weather events we've experienced, making it particularly significant. Second, the preparation strategies that worked during past storms, early action, flexibility, community support, apply here. Third, just like those past tough storms, this will pass, and Christmas week should bring the relief we've seen before. I know those of you who've been through challenging holiday weather before understand how stressful this can feel. The experience and resilience you've built during past storms will serve you well during this event. Look out for neighbors just like communities did during those memorable tough winters. That's when we're at our best. The community spirit that got us through past challenges will be just as important during this storm. In my next forecast, I'll compare this week's conditions with historical patterns and update the Christmas outlook. I'm also tracking January patterns that remind me of some memorable winter months from our recent past. Until then, draw on your experience from past storms, preparation, patience, and community support. I'll keep monitoring this system and comparing it with similar patterns we've tracked through challenging weather before. Thanks for trusting me to help you navigate this storm using lessons we've learned from past weather challenges. Keep drawing on that experience, stay flexible with your plans, and I'll see you in the next forecast. This is Michael Thompson reminding you that we've weathered tough storms before, and we'll get through this one together too. Experience is our greatest teacher. Use what past storms taught you to stay safe during this one. Until next time, take care and trust in the lessons we've learned together.